think it's a great setup. I think it's a really good way to discuss and to open the doors for people to get a better understanding of some of the issues, because there are so many different sports out there. There are so many different complex issues, and too often the legal entities at the top, or the people trying to resolve those disputes, don't have a full understanding of the sports that they're trying to quickly resolve issues within. So it's important to have events like this so that understanding can grow and be nurtured.
I think that the programme that's been put together here has been excellent in terms of the content, but more importantly the level of expertise available in the room and the level of attendees with the opportunities for networking, brainstorming, sharing best practice means that people walk away with tangibles, and I think it's a great investment in people's time.
We have it in my country, a similar organisation with a different name, to give everybody, athletes, sports officials, the public, confidence that there's a fair process for dealing with any disputes that arise, and the quality. The people I participated yesterday at it's kind of a training seminar, and the quality of the people and the quality of the analysis, the sensitivity with which they view a number of difficult cases, quite impressive.
Yeah, I mean, they're great. I used them in my old role. They looked after the National Anti-Doping Panel. I've used them in terms of their investigative services recently in a safeguarding matter. Can't speak highly enough of them. I think they're a really top-drawer organisation and full of expertise.
I feel that Sport Resolutions has an extremely important role to play, particularly coming from my environment of managing civil claims for compensation in the child abuse arena. The civil claims process is very clunky, it harms victims again, or can do, and so to have an environment whereby a resolution is achieved in a non-adversarial context is extremely important, and Sports Resolutions can do that.
Only 2 years in, this is already starting to build a reputation for itself as a go-to conference that really debates the topical issues at the moment that the sport is wrestling with, and you can see that by the nature of the panellists, but also the way the audience is engaging with them.
I thought it was a fantastic conference. What's great about Sports Resolutions is that it's engendered a lot of goodwill over the years. So there's a feel-good factor of attending, because there are associations who've been assisted by Sports Resolutions, there have been athletes who've been assisted, and there are governing bodies that have been assisted. And you bring those people all together who are at the top of UK sport and even internationally, it creates a fantastic environment.
Oh, it's very informative, great, and you meet a lot of people that you sort of have been acquainted with for a long time, but you meet in this sort of atmosphere, and it's very informative, and a lot of good stuff today.
I think it's been an excellent conference. I think it really has drilled down into some of the big issues that are affecting sport now and indeed in the future. But I think also what's been very good is people have been trying to bring solutions to those as well. And I think that has been, the most interesting part. So very constructive, I say well informed, and I think evidence-based solution to that, because of the wide mix of people who are here with their experiences, and to be able to manage that in this type of way, I think is excellent. And I think, a Sports Resolution ought to be very proud of putting this type of quality, as it were, conference on, and many of us getting so much out of it.
At UK Sport, we invest in Sports Resolutions and have been an investor in its work for a number of years. It's a critical part of the system that we need to be in place within each sport to manage disputes and appeals, to keep matters out of court, and to have some great expertise that's easily accessed to support resolving these disputes in a timely and professional manner.
Well, I've hosted quite a lot of conferences over the years about sport, and actually the interesting thing about it was that there were subjects which I'd never tackled before. So the session about abuse, for example, was something that I've never had a conversation really about, the athlete-coach relationship, which can turn abusive. And that was such an intense session where we had the interview that was being done by Phil with Gloria, where she really shared her pain with people. But then we also had Catherine, who was on the panel as well, who talked so frankly and openly about the battles that she had to get justice really for her story of abuse with her coach. So that was very, very moving. But then it went through a whole gamut of emotions really. So we finished off with Michael Vaughan talking about what it was like to manage Kevin Peterson, and that left us laughing at the end. But I think that the range of guests, the quality of guests, I mean, clearly the organisation, Sport Resolutions, has such a good range of contacts and works with so many different organisations that you get a really high quality of guest and therefore a high quality of discussion and revelation.
Oh, I thought it was excellent. It was really professionally presented. All the speakers were very experienced in their field, and there was a wide range of topics discussed, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yes, again, thoroughly enjoyed it. Some very good discussions, some very knowledgeable people, some really good issues that needed to be raised really and continue to be really important issues that we, as part of safeguarding panels and our own jobs are looking at anyhow.
I thought it was a fascinating insight. I thought the panels were fantastic. I thought the safeguarding aspect of the seminar and the discussion was great. Really fabulous day. It was great, and it was one of the best conferences I've been to for a long time.
I thought it was really interesting, and I'm a student myself, so I'm listening to a lot of lecturers and things like that a lot, and it really stood apart. I think the people they chose to speak were interesting, they spoke well, and I think the range of topics they covered as well was so at the moment, with the issues that are going on in the real world, and I thought it was just really interesting as a whole, really.
It's without comparison in the sense that it provides integrity, transparency and expertise, which is frankly exactly what we've been discussing today. We started off with governance, it does that. We dealt with safeguarding, it does that. We moved on to doping, it covers that. And then lastly, we talked about selection. And so it brings all of those themes together, which are the hot topics in sport.
I thought it was a fantastic conference. The speakers that were involved were unbelievable. And for me, the best thing about the day was, talking about topics where actually you need to have quite a lot of bravery and courage to get up there and talk about difficult topics as well. And I think, by confronting topics like this is the best way, we're going to be able to make progress.
These guys are having to tackle really challenging things, so issues of dispute between athletes and governing bodies, or between drugs, people who've taken drugs and the organisations who are trying to bring them to book. It's a really difficult and important role because they're doing it unseen, I think, a lot of the time, but it's massively important, and I really hadn't any idea until I came to be involved in this conference how important it was, and obviously that they are working with people who are the major decision makers in sport.
It's a double-edged sword in the sense that obviously we need to be well known to the organisations that would use us, and we have a very wide coverage of sports that use us in the UK. I think it's up to 95-96% now of sports in the UK use us for some reason or other, which is obviously fantastic. But it's kind of the service that people rely upon when they're in need, when there's a problem. And so sometimes perhaps sports will use us as the last thing that they think of, when perhaps we need to encourage them to put us more forward in their minds, maybe, because we can help them to stop disputes arising in the first place. We can help them with issues as they go along. So of course, if our profile is raised, that's a good thing, because obviously we're here to help sport as much as we can. We've already started to think ahead. We've already started to prepare. We're thinking of topics now that would be relevant. Of course, that we will leave things open for interesting events and things that occur between now and this time next year in 2017. But we're already planning ahead. We're very much hoping that those who've come today will come again. We hope to increase the numbers next year on top of that, because we believe that these conferences are really important, that the messages that we give and the topics we discuss are important for sport. The numbers have gone up from last year to this. We hope that continues, because, as I say, this conference is an important one for people who work in sport to attend in the UK.